I'm just a girl sitting on her couch who just got broken up with. I'm just crying because I'm hurting.
You liar. You're pulling my leg. This is so ridiculous sounding.
Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Alright, we have quite the doozy of a video. Our co-host Amberlynn Reid has found herself in some hot water, as well as being the victim of a breakup, it seems. And this is something that I think a lot of people kind of saw coming. Maybe not her being broken up with, but this relationship not really lasting. So a little bit of backstory for those of you that might not know. I'm sure most of you probably know more than I do, but Amberlynn recently has been in a newer relationship. The person that she has been in a relationship with, Amberlynn has been calling Tommy. They also go by the name of Emily. There's a ton of different names which we will be getting into in this video, but they have not been together that long. And now almost immediately when Amberlynn and this Tommy person got together, there were a lot of people that were throwing a lot of red flags out. Now, the main reason that these red flags were being thrown out is because a lot of people noticed that Emily or Tommy, their past relationship was with someone that was extremely large, and this person ended up passing away. As history has shown, Amberlynn, when you get into a relationship, weight loss seems to stall. And so like you're adding the fact that this person has a previous relationship with someone that was super morbidly obese and then ended up passing away. Of course, people are going to have questions and are going to have something to say about that, right?
Like pop off, which rumors are not true. Yeah. Tommy is not a feeder at all. And I got permission to share like why certain photos were online. So
the photos that are in question are ones that very much so look like feeder activities, right? That's the best way that I can really explain it.
When Tommy was with her late fiance, they were long distance and they wanted to see each other more often. And to do so, they found a way to like make money. And it was never like out of like a ill intent type of thing. And I know a lot of people are going to think that and still continue to assume that.
So like, I mean, so basically, you know, they were doing feeder activities, not because they wanted to, but because money was involved, right? And it was a means to an end. But like at the end of the day, just think with your brain, right? Like there are, I don't even know how many other ways to earn money. And to choose that one out of every other way will look absolutely terrible. Like, and there's nothing that you can say to me that's not going to make me raise an eyebrow and like, really? There no other means of making some extra money other than doing stuff that definitely looks like feeder activity, right?
And that's, I can't change anyone's opinion. I can only sit here and tell you the truth. That's all I can do. Like,
I mean, it's the truth that you want to believe, right? Like, of course you're going to want to believe that. It's just tough, man.
Like, it was just a way for them to make money. It wasn't something they did in their like alone time, like, if that makes sense.
So again, who knows, right? That's just taking Tommy's word for it. And a lot of people were kind of concerned because they felt that there was a hint of greederism. Just switch the G with an F and you'll know what I mean. And so people were concerned for Amberlynn. And so when all of that was happening, Amberlynn was kind of defending the person that they were with, the person that she is with, saying that, no, that's ridiculous, that's not true. And then another thing kind of happened where it was found that Emily or Tommy or whatever and their previous partner, who had just passed away, were on a greederism website, and people started asking questions about that. Now, when that started coming out, Amberlynn basically said that Tommy had told her that the only reason that they were on that website was not because of anything, nefarious or anything like, a fetish or anything, but it was just because they needed to make money, and that was really the only way that they could do it. Now, all of that has happened as much and other stuff, with the whole saga of the Vlogmas, and that was a big thing, and it's just been a lot. Now, in the past couple of days, there have been a lot of developments on this that have led to, which is what you saw at the beginning of this video, that relationship ending. And I think the whole saga is just incredibly interesting. With all of that being said, let's get into what has been found now. A little bit of, I don't know if you call it a trigger warning, a content warning, but some of this stuff is, I don't know, cringy, I guess. I don't know if you need a content warning for that, but we're going to go over some of these screenshots that Rachel, bless her heart, found for me. She does a lot of the research, especially with the Amberlynn Reid videos. But so she did a lot of this procuring of information, so I did not have to have that on my computer. So shout out to Rachel. You guys can show her some love in the comments because, like I said, this stuff is, I don't know, it feels like I'm on the dark web, even though these are just screenshots that I'm going to be going over. But so this is Tommy's, or whatever name you want to use. This is part of their profile that was on this website. And if you read the top here, it says Princess by Night, Slut by Night. And these are photos of Tommy, and it says groups that they are a member of: Fat Admiration, Feederism, or Greederism, sorry, and or Weight Game, Fet Life Announcements, and then a blurred out state that I think most of you guys can kind of understand what that is, BBW and SSBBW. Okay, let's move on. So this is an account that Emily was following, which, again, some pretty interesting images. And the reason that I think that this is interesting, right, is because the whole time that Amberlynn and Tommy, Emily, I don't know what name to use anymore, they were together, Amberlynn was very adamant that Tommy isn't into that. Remember, like, there was a whole thing that we talked about where Amberlynn said that Emily, I'm just going to say Tommy because that's what I've been saying, that Tommy wanted to go on a GLP-1 medication with her to help her lose weight.
My girlfriend was like, how would I try Monjuro with you? And I was like, you literally don't need it. Like, you literally don't. So no, thank you. I appreciate this.
I mean, I'm just going to be honest. I'm not sure if I believe that, but I feel like I understand why she's trying to make it seem like that is true. But I'm just going to say I'm going to press X for doubt on that one.
Support. If she wants to eat healthier with me or like count calories, like, sure. But I don't want her to like go on a whole ass medicine just to support.
Not even just sure, like she has to, right? Like that's at the end of the day, I believe if you are in a relationship with someone that is at Amberlynn's size and you want to help them save their life, you have to join that journey with them, because it is almost impossible for one person to be eating whatever they want and however they want, and then one person be on the diet and then just expect that to work out. It does not work. It just doesn't, right? We see the divorce rates with people that get weight loss surgery is incredibly high, and it's because those relationships a lot of time are founded on those principles and those habits that people have built. And for a lot of times, sadly, one person ends up gaining a ton of weight, one person doesn't for whatever reason. Maybe they're not eating as much, whatever, but they still enjoy the same lifestyle. And then someone gets a weight loss surgery, they end up losing a ton of weight, their lifestyle changes, and it doesn't mesh any longer with that person that didn't have a ton of weight to lose, and things fall apart, right? So I think if Amberlynn Reid and Tommy want to stick together and this to be a long-term thing, this is going to have to be something that they both do together. That's just my opinion.
Support me, because I feel like she can do that in like several different ways than like actually starting a medication, because that's a lot. But I just thought that was sweet of her.
Now, that just puts into question that whole narrative. Like, was that true? Obviously, a lot of people were saying they didn't believe it. I was one of those people. And, if we're looking at these accounts that Tommy was following, Emily was following, I don't know. I mean, it's a little strange, right? And then continuing on. Now, this one is very interesting because I'm sure a lot of you guys know this face, right? That is Candy, or Hungry Fat Chick. And we go on to see here, right? It says fetishist, right? And then this is two friends that I think Emily has, and one of them is Candy. And then, these are from a few years ago, I think. And at the time, we've talked about Candy quite a bit. And I've always said I like Candy. A lot of people don't feel I'm hard enough on her. But I think that, Candy has been very upfront and honest about her past. She said she used to do stuff like this to make money, right? She was on these websites. So I would not be surprised that this is really her, right? Because this is something that she has talked about many times in the past. So I would be just very curious to see if Tommy, Emily, whatever, and Candy have had conversations in the past. And again, you just have to understand, like, what are the chances that this person ends up reaching out to both Candy and Amberlynn, two people that are literally in girl world, if you want to use that term, right? There's not that many people in them, but Tommy, Emily has reached out, maybe not reached out to Candy, we don't know, but they have connections at least with Amberlynn, obviously, right? And then also they're following and are friends with Candy on this website, right? There's just a lot of coincidences that are coming along, right? And then this next screenshot is just their profile, and it says, okay, this is scratched out, but I just think that the name is incredible, and I just want to shout it out. So the name on the profile was Les Eat, so it's just really good. And it goes on to say, you aren't able to interact with Les Eat because they've either deactivated their account or they blocked you. So when all of this stuff started coming out, Tommy, Emily kind of deleted a lot of the evidence, I guess. With that being said, that leads into the next thing that I wanted to bring up, which is this. So this is Tommy/Emily's response to everything that was going on Instagram. And I believe that this response came out before it was known for sure that they had broken up. Okay. And so this is their new account, which they've named, or they're not their new account, but they changed their name to Provoked, like an oak tree, because apparently Tommy/Emily really likes trees and nature or something like that, which we are in our 30s, and I just feel like changing your name on Instagram because of drama, I don't know. That's a whole nother thing. I don't know. Maybe that's me being a little judgmental, but when I saw that, I was like, come on, brother. But whatever. Okay, so let's read this post. So it goes on to say, I want to stand up for myself and clear a few things up. 1, I've never denied my preferences. Amberlynn was fully aware of everything from the very beginning of our relationship. People are now using my preferences as an excuse to invade what little privacy I have left. Now, the reason that I feel like this is strange, 1, Amberlynn was so adamant about that not being the case, which is something we are definitely going to go over. There's a response that she left on this post, but she was so adamant. So either Amberlynn is lying, right? Or Tommy/Emily is lying. One of those things is obviously happening, because this was something that was brought up a lot at the beginning of the relationship, right? It's something that we brought up, that we talked about a lot, and why I felt it was kind of uncomfortable to be in this relationship with someone that was literally right before, not long before, less than a year, I think, before Tommy, Emily, and Amberlynn got together. Tommy/Emily was at her ex's funeral, or I guess ex, because they're no longer with us, at their funeral talking about them, right? And this was a very large individual that they were also on a Feederism website together to only make money, not because of any fetish stuff, which clearly that's happening here because Tommy themselves say it, right? Okay. It's just a way for them to justify crossing boundaries and looking into my life far beyond what's appropriate. They want to excuse doxing every small detail they uncover about me. Just because Amberlynn is a public figure doesn't mean that I am. Being with her isn't an open invitation for people to scrutinize my entire life. There should still be some level of respect. This level of harassment speaks volumes about the people posting it more than any tea about me. Now, I do want to say, I can understand, I think that with the internet, there are people that can definitely take it too far. And I think if there's anyone that's, trying to find out exactly where Tommy/Emily lives, that's a little too far. Trying to go up to these people in real life, that's too far. But I do think that bringing up these genuine concerns, I don't know. I think that there's definitely times when things can go too far, but I'm not sure if this is something that I would consider just too far in and of itself. But this photo carousel has a couple pictures. So the next one says, 2, apparently there was also someone on Reddit pretending to be me or pretending to be a relative of mine that wasn't me. I was at a family birthday party yesterday and have no idea who that person was or what their intentions were other than to stir the pot. And then 3, I'm not this secret, elusive, terrible person that people are trying to make me out to be. Honesty and integrity are important to me. All of this has been too much. At this point, it feels like damned if I do, damned if I don't situation. So I am speaking up for myself. And I think one of the biggest problems here is just that the way that Amberlynn and they address this, where it was basically saying, oh, this Feederism stuff is so not true. And I can't believe that you would even bring that up. And Tommy actually wants to help me lose weight. When, like, was that even true? Why tell a lie? Like, what was the point for that, right? Other than trying to misdirect and lie to the people that are following, right? It just doesn't really make any sense. But I did want to read some of the comments and the responses. So this one is very telling. So it was like, but you're saying that ALR knew about your preferences when ALR has been denying it for months. And then Tommy replies, I don't have control over what Amberlynn says or does clearly, right? So in my mind, that is saying, yeah, that, you know, she was lying. I didn't tell her to say that, right? And then this reply, are we approaching a breakup era? The issues with your preferences is that it actively harms the other person involved. And I would agree with that. Like, I've talked about the whole greederism thing a few times in the past, and I'm always like, man, I'm not trying to like kink shame people, you know, hey, y'all do your thing. But when it comes to this extent, I think that there is a little bit of, it is dangerous, right? Because it's one person that is really feeling the harm of the situation more than the other person, right? Like Amberlynn or someone that would be the greedy, they are the one that is experiencing all of the hardship, the pain, the negatives of that situation. And the person that is doing the greeting, the person that is, not gaining the weight isn't dealing with that. And I do feel like there is a level of, I think that it is okay to scrutinize that, because I think that goes past normal just kink stuff. Now, the next thing that I do want to go over is from a live stream. Amberlynn actually did a couple live streams when all of this was going on. God bless Rachel, because she went through them and clipped about 7 minutes worth of what I think is worth talking about. And so we are going to be going over this. So again, this is from just one of them. There were 2. I think the other one, it just wasn't really super necessary. It was kind of the same stuff over and over again. But we're going to go over this first initial live stream when everything was kind of happening.
Did we break up? Yes, we did. We did. The type of
so it obviously is very sad. Breakups are sad. It's hard, but I always really struggle with the want to, if this is something that is genuinely very hard for you, to want to go on the internet and share that with so many people. I don't know. I am a public figure to an extent, I guess. Nowhere near the level of probably Amberlynn or a lot of other people. But the last thing I would want to do is share that with so many people. It just doesn't feel like a normal thing to do to me at all. It doesn't feel healthy in any way to want to film yourself. I get, I don't know, man. If you have no one else to talk to, maybe. But even then, man, I don't know. I feel like this is just unhealthy behavior, right?
I hate that we get online. It's bad. Genuinely. And I can understand why people can't handle it. I get it. It's fucking rough. It's really, really rough. It's not even my fault this time. Like, that's the part that's like the craziest to me. It's like, it's just like all the hate online is like so much.
It's interesting that she says that it's not my fault this time, right? Which is so crazy. That's what she said, right? And like, I mean, I guess you could say that people looking into it and maybe having this stuff come to light isn't quote unquote your fault, but I think to a certain extent you do have to take a little bit of responsibility. Like when you decide to share so much of your life online and you decide to monetize that, especially, and like this is what you do for a living, part of that is accepting that there are going to be people that are going to look into this stuff, right? And when there's one thing about being in a relationship and being a public figure, but you don't have to make such a large part of your content and who you are about that relationship, right? And I think that's where Amberlynn, like, if she really wanted to avoid this type of scrutiny and this level of like, just keep it off. Just keep it offline. Keep your relationship to yourself, right? I think that's, especially don't make multiple videos. Do a whole Vlogmas when you are with this person at their house. Like, it just, like, that's the most you could do to avoid this situation, right? And I feel like, you have to take some responsibility for that, right?
And like, I understand getting hate, but it's like, to this extent, it's like fucking, it's like its own version of torture. I'm not gonna lie. Like, she broke up with me because of the hate, because of the harassment, because of the stalking. I do not hate her, I do not harass her, and I do not stalk her. So no, it is not my fault. We broke up because the hate is too much for her. The rumors are too much, which I get it. And I'm not gonna lie, like, I tried to explain that to her before I even like revealed her. I was like, I get a lot of hate, and I just didn't explain like the depth of it because I hadn't shown like.
So, okay, the reason that this, so like, obviously people doing a bunch of stuff and that being like getting way too into the weeds can be very uncomfortable, but I think a big reason and where a lot of the accountability I feel like isn't being had is that there were a lot of people that were saying at the start, especially, that were like, hey, I don't know if this is a good idea. I don't know if this is smart, right? Like, there are all of these things that point to some greederism habits, and like, these are, the person that they were with right before you passed away. Like, we really don't think this is a good idea. And Amberlynn just kept being like, that's not true. That's ridiculous. All of these things. And then, so obviously people were doing a lot more digging. They're trying to find this stuff, right? They're trying to basically prove that this is actually true. And it was just, I think people started, because one thing that Amberlynn can do is be a little condescending, right? And it was like, oh, you guys are ridiculous. You're just mad that I'm happy. When you start poking that bear, man, like, people are going to find all the information possible. And like, this is just, in my mind, the only way that this was going to end, because people were going to find those accounts. People were going to find that stuff regardless, right? Especially when you are just constantly saying, oh, that's not even true. It's, there's no truth to it. I think it would have been smarter to be like, yeah, that Tommy is into people that are bigger and I'm okay with that. We've had a conversation about it, instead of being like, what? That's crazy. What do you mean? That's so not true, right? So people were obviously more interested in trying to find that information.
A person I was in a relationship with for like years. So I was never expecting things to end up like this. Don't turn to food or alcohol, you can thrive. Yeah. I don't plan on turning to alcohol, but let's hope that I don't turn to food. Yeah.
So that's honestly, so let's hope that I don't turn to food, right? And that's where this whole thing, it really bums me out that this could be, I mean, I don't think anyone's surprised that has been following Amberlynn for a long time, because this is literally the cycle of how things go. It literally to a T. It's actually it's honestly kind of crazy how much everything fits into a cycle. But like, that's the thing that honestly, the first thought I had was like, well, how long is this going to last? How long is the new Ozempic journey going to last, right? The GLP-1 medication journey. Like, because that's what happens in this situation and what has happened in the past. And it's just like, man, I wish that Amberlynn could use this pain, right? And like this sorrow that she's feeling to better herself and like improve the quality of her life. Because like, I genuinely think like if Amberlynn lost a significant amount of weight, like, yeah, losing weight isn't the end all be all gonna solve all your problems, but I think it would be so beneficial for her. And so I do genuinely hope that this isn't a reason to just kind of, I guess, relapse would be the best term. But like, I hope that this isn't a reason to just be like, well, there's nothing I can do about it, so I'm just going to, I'm just going to eat my feelings away. Instead, be like, you know what? I am going to use this and harness this frustration that I'm feeling to better myself. But, only time will tell.
No. I have a consultation with a therapist, which I talk about in my vlogs, and now you guys know ahead of time, but it's whatever. And it's like, how am I supposed to work on myself and heal and like all of that, like really good stuff, while like being, for the lack of a better word, like tormented online? Like, how am I supposed to like ever move on from everything if everything is always brought up constantly? Like, what am I supposed to do? Like,
I think that this is honestly the best time where you can actually focus on yourself and focus on improving yourself and improving the quality of your life and trying to improve things, right? Like, I genuinely do believe in it. This is sad though, because I personally believe, I think maybe people would disagree with me here, but I think if Amberlynn genuinely improved the quality of her life and started actually losing weight and just was an all around better person, right? Like, lost weight, got healthier, but also improved her, not the best, her not super desirable characteristics that she might have. I think a lot of the people that make videos about her, like, those videos would just not be as interesting. And so it is a very weird dichotomy, because I feel like if Amberlynn actually improved herself, I feel like viewership would not, it wouldn't help. It wouldn't, do better. I think it would actually suffer. But again, that maybe I'm wrong, and I kind of hoping that I'm wrong about that, but that's just how I feel. And so it's definitely a tough situation that Amberlynn's in. But again, a good amount of it is built by Amberlynn, right? And so
I can never like grow as a person. And I'm telling you, if I was capable of walking away from YouTube, then like literally I would. But it's not possible right now. And like, I genuinely just want to disappear.
And that's the big issue, right? And that's exactly where it leads to, is that there is no other option for Amberlynn right now other than making YouTube videos. And like, basically like feeding into this drama, it does make her more money, right? And so it's like she has to continue doing that. It's a very interesting situation, and one that I don't think has been seen many times, right? There's other people that are considered lol cows on the internet and stuff like that, but it's definitely a very interesting situation, and I don't know, not one that I'm envious of,
It's been like really fucking hard. And like, I'm ahead in videos, so it's like, oh, you guys are gonna be seeing like I just don't seem like myself, and I just seem, it's true, I'm just really fucking sad, like, I'm not gonna lie. But unfortunately, this is my job, and I can't just walk away from my job when there's a roof over my head that needs to stay over my head. And Like, I have fur babies I need to take care of. Like, I need to take care of myself. Like, but genuinely, I'm not okay, and I do not know how I'm gonna be okay. Like,
I think that, you know, I can understand and empathize with the stress and the fear of, you know, this is my job and I can't just walk away. Again, obviously the easy response to that, and I'm sure something that people will say is like, well, just get a quote unquote real job. I think at this point where Amberlynn is, I'm not sure if that's like honestly possible. Maybe she's able to find somewhere where she can work from home and just basically sit on a laptop. Maybe that would be something that she can do. I don't know. Maybe that's something that she could look into. But I do think that, you know, like what I was saying before, I do think that if she actually really invested in herself and tried to better herself in all of those ways, right? Obviously, health-wise is a big one, but in other ways as well. If she tried to better herself and like stuck to it, right? Maybe at the start things would slow down, but I do think that there is a path to redemption, right? But it's going to take a while. And you might not see the fruits of your labor initially, right off the bat, right? And you might have to deal with some bumps in the road. But I think that if Amberlynn were able to turn herself around a la Nikocado, right? Obviously, she would continue filming herself because I think she has to, right? She doesn't have the money saved up that Nick probably did. And I don't think she would be able to, you know, film in advance for 2 years like Nick did. I just don't think that's going to happen. But if she continued to film that process and like actually improved over time, I think that would be a very beautiful story and something that could, you know, sustain her for a while, other than this, which is basically crashing and burning every few months and then trying to, you know, rebuild from those ashes, and then it crashes and burns. And it feels like every subsequent crash and burn, the pieces that we are building with have become so brittle and frail that the rebuilding process is just shorter and shorter and shorter. Like that's what it seems that we're at right now. And so I think that like trying to scrap everything, move from the foundation you've been trying to build on, go somewhere else and just start anew, start fresh. I don't know. I think that it could be worth trying at least, right?
that's how it feels. Genuinely, if I have the opportunity to stop YouTube, like I really need to. Like, I need to, but like I don't. It's okay to walk away if you need to. YouTube must feel like a prison for you sometimes, but you're in control here. It's your life. It's okay to leave. Yeah. But it's like
it's okay to leave, but like she can't. Like what else? She's gonna leave and then not have any money, right? Not be like, so she, in her mind, that's not possible, right? That's not something that she can do.
Where do I go? You know, that's the part that's like, I've been on here for 11 years. Where do I go?
I understand, like, where do I go? But if that's a genuine, like, if you genuinely, I say that word too much, I know, but if you really want to move from what you are doing, you have the time to invest in, you know, getting this certification, getting this, like, whatever, right? Like, you have the time. You are at home. You have time to go to online school. Whatever. Like, if that's genuinely, I said it again, if that's really something that you want to do, there are options for you. There are ways that you can do that, right? And so if that's what you want to do, then pursue that while still doing YouTube, even if it's reluctantly, right? Maybe the videos will be boring, but whatever. It's still keeping a roof over your head, and you're able to move on to something that you feel is more, you know, is going to be more lucrative for you. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think any job is going to probably feel a lot harder than the YouTube videos that you've been making. And that's someone that makes YouTube videos themselves, right? I'm not sitting here saying that YouTube is the hardest job. It's certainly not. We are blessed, right? And so, like, if that's genuinely, if that's really something that you want to do, if that's really something that you're just like, I can't do this anymore, it's not worth it. Again, there are options. So, but just sitting and like being frustrated online, like, you know, I mean, what are you expecting out of this, right?
Like, I'm sure other people have felt that way too, like in any sort of position, like any sort of job, not just like YouTube, but like when you work somewhere for so long and it's like you realize like you want better in life, like you're ready to like do better. It's like, what does that look like for me? Like, where do I go from here? You know, like, that's the part that's really scary for me. I just don't like understand, like, how do you get like a normal job? Like, I know that sounds freaking crazy, but like,
So, I mean, there's plenty of ways to get a normal job. I'd say that the first way is probably not asking a live stream how to do that. I think that you find someone you trust, right, that has been in the normal world, and ask them how they did it, right? There are plenty of ways. Like, I do understand, like with Amberlynn, she can't just go job searching as far as like, I'm going to go to this store and apply. And because clearly Amberlynn can't work at a retail shop. She wouldn't be able to work at like a, like a restaurant. Like it's definitely limited, right? But if you find something that you're interested in, how do I get a certification or some way to say that I know what I'm doing in that thing and then apply for it, right? I'm assuming Amberlynn would have to do something where she's at home, or maybe again, I think Amberlynn, I don't think she has a driver's license, so she's super limited there. So there's things that you can do. Okay, first thing I need is probably a driver's license so I can get to the job. All right, bam, that's the thing I'm going to focus on first. Let's get that handled, right? You have to make a plan. And I mean, the thing is, Amberlynn loves planning. And so that's, start of the next vlog, baby. Let's plan to get a real job. A real job. Again, I'm a YouTuber. All right. I can say that without it being mean. But like, let's plan to get a 9 to 5, that's the video. I don't know. Like there's tons of different versions there's tons of different ways that you can go about that, right?
it's true. Like, I'm at that point where it's like, if I could just find like a normal job, I wouldn't post on YouTube anymore. At least not for a long time. And it's like, it makes me feel bad because I know there's so many people who like count on me. Like, I get so many messages where people are like,
okay, so I understand the whole, like, there's so many people that count on me, but to put that over your own mental health and mental well-being is unhinged. And I personally don't believe it. All right. I know, I'm sorry, I'm a terrible person, but like, I know I appreciate people that watch my videos. I appreciate it so much, and it means a lot to me. Thank you. If you're watching this right now, hit the like button, but like, I appreciate it. But also, if making videos was absolutely destroying my mental health and my life, right? It felt like my life was ending when I was posting videos. I'd be like, yo, appreciate y'all, but I'm out. You know what I'm saying? Peace out. And guess what? People in a few weeks, they will forget that I existed. All right. Because that's how the internet is. They will forget that I existed for the most part. And then every once in a while, they might go to Instagram and be like, hey, where's the Beast at? They'll go, they see I haven't posted in a year. They'll leave a comment on my last Instagram post. Oh, I was just thinking about you. I hope you're doing well. That would be the extent of it. I promise you, they would not be sitting in the room like, oh my God, Obese Beast hasn't posted a video and I'm freaking out and I'm going to crash out. And this is we think as YouTubers that the things that we are doing have a lot more like meaning in people's life than they really do. You have to understand that, like, and I'm speaking to you as a YouTuber, right? I understand what it's like to spend all your time, energy, and effort into making videos, the content as much as you can. You think about it, you're trying, like all day you're thinking about this stuff, right? You might not be filming all the time, but you're constantly thinking, how can I make my videos better? What can I do better here? What can I do better there? But the reality is that the person that is watching the video, the vast majority of them are going to watch the video, and then they're going to move on and maybe watch 15 other videos that day, maybe even more if you're like me, because I watch too much YouTube, right? And you're going to be like, yeah, that was a cool video, but they're not thinking about it all day. And it's hard not to realize that the vast, of course, there's always super fans or whatever, but the vast majority of people are not going to be spending so much time thinking about you, right? So once you're gone, eventually they're going to forget that you even existed for the most part, right? There are plenty of YouTubers that I was like, this is my favorite YouTuber. I love watching every video. And then either they stop posting or I stopped being interested because, I have ADHD and I have niches, right? And I eventually just got out of that super hyper fixation, and I haven't watched a video of theirs in years. I don't think, anything bad about them, but I just don't watch their videos. Okay. Sorry, that was a really long rant, but that's important,
You're my comfort, and I turn to you when I have anxiety or I'm having a bad day. Like, your voice helps me fall asleep. Like, I see those messages and I hear them so much and so loud. And it's like, that would break my heart if like a YouTuber that I thought was comforting and helped me through hard times, like, just left.
But would you hold it against them though? Right? I doubt it. Maybe. I mean, I guess I can't speak for everyone, but like, I don't think I would hold it against them, especially if they had come out multiple times saying making videos is terrible for my mental health. It is destroying my mental health, right? If they were coming out and saying that, if I was still upset that they weren't posting because it helped me, brother, I would need to go talk to someone immediately, because that is unacceptable behavior. That's crazy, right? You have to understand, people's, like, it does not all revolve around you. And so, you know, obviously this is all a fake scenario, but like, you know, in my head, that's what makes sense.
Deep within, like, I am such like a positive person. Like, I'm bubbly. I'm just like a happy person, and it's like YouTube has like ruined me, like, genuinely. And I'm not talking about like my supporters or anything like that, so please don't think that. Someone said this is so manipulative. Where? How? Like, I'm just a girl sitting on her couch who just got broken up with.
So I can understand the person that's saying this is manipulative. I think that maybe this is trauma from my past. But growing up, there was a lot of crying that happened in my household, like a significant amount. So whenever I see someone crying online, I'm always just like, what are they trying to get out of this? Like, what's the reason for this, right? And so I think I can understand where that person's coming from. And so I think that the reason that it can be seen as manipulative is that, like, what is the point of doing a live stream crying about a breakup? Like, what does that actually do, right? And the thing that's weird is, like, again, this is very cynical, but when you watch the live stream, if you go there live, there are tons of people that are sending super chats. A lot of times they're just sending them to say something rude or whatever, but still, that's money that is literally going straight into your bank account, right? 70%, I think, is what YouTube pays you. And it's just like, so yeah, like, if you're going to be cynical about it, it's like, why are you doing this? It feels manipulative. It feels like this is a way to make money, right? So I can understand where someone is coming from by saying that.
Like, that's literally all that's happening. I'm just crying because I'm hurting.
So that is the entire clipped up version of the live stream, and I really wanted to go over that because I feel like it really shares exactly where Amberlynn was in the moment, basically, of the breakup. So that's kind of everything up until this point. I mean, I'm sure when this video comes out, it'll basically be old news, but it is what it is. But I'm curious what other people think down in the comment section down below. If you did make it to the end of the video, I do want to let you know I did open memberships. We're going to be doing a video every single week, as well as live streams where I'll try not to cry. I'll do my best. And there'll be a ton of other stuff too, but more than anything, it just helps out the channel. So I would really appreciate it if you just check it out. The join button should be right by the subscribe button. So if you haven't subscribed, you can do that, and that's free. Any comments and stuff like that help out. Thumbs up. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. Peace.